sharing those stories.
We just started with
great. And James, can you just make sure that I can share the screen as well?
Yep.
Just going to be co-host. Yeah, and lovely facilitation as well. So, and really nice to see my friend Frankie, who is the only one without who has a real proper backdrop in the top of the mountain. So it's not a Zoom backdrop. So yeah, the topic of today is all about expanding, evolving, and inspiring to create impact. So my question now, before I've got 5 slides, so I'm not going to do too many slides, but I'm going to do a little bit at the beginning. My question, first of all, to you guys who are all in the Wellbeing Adventurers group, hands up, who wants to expand and evolve? Okay, so that's most people. Yes, that's everyone. Well, that's not surprising because we're all in the adventurers group. We're curious, we're wellbeing people. We like to learn new things and share stuff. That's how we are. But to a lot of people in different audiences, they don't actually want to expand or evolve. It's scary. They don't want to. When truth is revealed, it's too much, and it's frightening. So just when we go through, I'm going to give you like an expansive, evolving journey, and it's just sharing what I've been through for the last couple of years, and you can sit back and enjoy it, and just open up to it. I should imagine that there'll be a few bits and pieces that might be new to you, but you'll be pretty much in your comfort zone. But there'll be other people that you might want to help, or that things might be a bit of a stretch, and so yeah, just bear that in mind. And then the other question to you is, hands up, who actually wants to inspire to create impact? Yeah, well, anyway, that's all of you. Nearly. So that's great, but that's not a given. We go through things and we evolve and expand, and that just happens. It happens naturally. It is happening, especially in the last couple of years. It's accelerated. It's happening as a collective, but it's a choice really whether we want to then inspire intentionally and to create impact. So there's 2 things here. I've gone up through this expansive journey in the last 2 years. So I've gone through like a warp tunnel into this a whole new world, and I'm not saying that I'm like more evolved or expanded than you, but I guess why I'm here today is because I've been able to, in my own way, made sense of it, and created like a way to communicate it. And in that way, you might want to get inspired about how you do it, if you want to create impact. And you've got to inspire yourself first. So I did go through this talk about 4 times just to make sure that it was inspiring. But yeah, so I'll just share the screen for a minute. And I say I don't want death by PowerPoint, so I'm just gonna go on to the first screen. So theme: evolve, expand, inspire to create the most impact. So that's about me. So I have gone on this big, I think James sort of saw that I'd posted something about my some outward signs of my sort of transformational evolutionary journey. One of them was me losing 2 stone since January, and that I had completely transformed my flat and thrown away like 20 years of clutter in 1 week right at the beginning of the year. And what I wanted to say with that is that it's really a reflection. Your outer world and that transformation is just a reflection of an inner world, and it's all that sort of the build up to that you don't really talk about. So it's nice to be able to share that right now and reflect on it. And I've been able to observe it and make sense of it. and it has, and I was able to share it. And really, what I've come to the conclusion is that the problems we're having in the world, it's all about our disconnection to self and to nature. And so that wasn't really my mission, and that's why it's like a pleasure to talk about these kind of things. And we are going to be this talk is all about reconnection back to self, and I'm going to talk about I'm going to call it 8 aspects of ourselves, and so that's going to be our journey today. So that's just about me prioritizing health and well-being, really, because I did have a health story of fatigue, and I've had to really have a look at the relationship I've had with myself, and I've sort of come out of that with more self-assurance and sort of a sense of inner calm, and a feeling of abundance, lots of opportunities like these speaking opportunities. And I do inspire and educate, so that's, as I'm learning, as soon as I've learned something, I just need to share it. I think it's just innate in us in some way. We used to do it around a fire, but now I do it on my online platform, and so that was a big thing last year. Really just sharing things about habits, practice, ways of thinking, being, and lifestyle. So I'm a business owner. I've got some, I empower others, particularly people in businesses. My profession is executive assistant. I'm also do other like products with Niken. Some people know Niken and Manatech, and I'm interested in the Healy. So I'm connected with a lot of people within this group, partly based, local, and location dependent. I love roses. Right, so this is my method. So again, this is just a way to communicate, and this is how I would sort of explain my expansive experience, because you expand, and therefore you've got to keep you grounded at the same time. So there's always an element of reconnection back to yourself, and to really explore that, and then you start to review. So really it's about expanding and evolving. And to observe that it's the key is the self-awareness, where you can really attune and be into the relationship of all that is, and that's really our evolutionary journey. So this is the slide that I just wanted to share. So there's different aspects of self, and I'm going to go through each one. That's our talk for today. So there's the biophilic self, the ancient self, the self of the small s, the innate self, the authentic self, the future self, and the higher self, and the sacred self. And so this is really, I'm going to be sharing more insights, but then a few stories, and most of it you're going to go, oh yeah, that resonates. Yeah, I know that. But it's nice when someone else says it in a different way, and it might be food for thought as well. So I'm going to stop the screen share. I've got one more slide on that. So the biophilic self, I mean, I'm all about nature, and so some people know me as a forest bathing guide, because one of the things when I had my fatigue was that I'd be very slow in nature and connect with my senses. And so this whole thing I learned about the fact that we're disconnected from our biophilic self, and biophilia is our innate our love for nature, basically, and so we are nature. And so when the pandemic hit, I had that go-to, the forest bathing thing, being in nature, and but yet the history of us, really, if you think of it, a football pitch, the time that we've actually been out of the forest and into a sort of unnatural space has been the size of a coin. So no wonder we're in this place. And so this sense of perspective and why has been helpful to me. And so so being reconnected to your biophilic self. So nature vibrates at neutral frequency, the Dr. Hawkins scale of consciousness, so it brings you above fear and courage, and it's a neutral, so it gets you back into balance. and you've got the sort of grounding. So for me, I absolutely had to go into nature for this expansive experience that I was experiencing, and it stops. You know, when we had the lockdown, you know, I was feeling really isolated. But I had that sense of belonging where I sort of watched the crows and the storks and the interaction between them, and it was very. I didn't know whether they were enjoying themselves or they were not liking each other. But I've got a whole story about that. I could probably tell you. I'm just sitting there for half an hour looking at the storks and the crows. So it helped me develop a sense of place. And so all this sort of helps you, just to be part of something bigger. So, and that's when people said I really didn't like the fact we didn't travel, then I travelled the most over that lockdown period on Wimbledon Common that I've ever travelled, because I just looked so deeply into nature and was part of that. That was a massive, expansive experience for me. And then I guide others to do that, you see. And so, yes, I wanted to expand what I did, just to sort of segue a little bit into nature indoors as well, because, you know, we're all indoors like almost 22 hours a day. And that's kind of like heartbreaking, to be honest. And so Nicken, the company Nicken, came to me into my awareness, and so I explored a lot of how you can bring nature indoors, and that was again a very expansive experience to understand what we need. So, like, you know, I've got my grounding mat right now underneath my screen, so that I'm connected to the earth and the Schumann resonance. My heartbeat is connected to the heartbeat of the planet. The air it's actually more dangerous to be inside than outdoors. So yeah, I've got many statistics about that. So just to be aware about, you know, having the right air, and, you know, the structured water, the importance not just for hydration but coherence. So, you know, our thoughts, that when we're talking about vibration, and people know about this here, our thoughts vibration. So having coherence, structured water, the right water in your body will allow you to have the right messaging around your body, that kind of thing. So I'm learning all these different things, you know, about negative ions, about far infrared, negative ions. When you have negative ions, you know, when you have a shower, you're in a good mood, partly because of the water, but because of the droplets that hit the other bits of water. So the negative ions are found in the forest and waterfalls and things. They're mood enhancers, as well as they help with blood circulation. And so it's all these like little insights that make you adjust your lifestyle and how you sort of see the world. So I'm sort of in nature 2 hours a day. I'm lucky, but you can also bring nature indoors as well. So that's connection back to your biophilic self. Your ancient self is the next one, and you know, we were very intuitive when we were our ancestors, because we were much more connected to our senses. But now we're really, you know, our sight is our main sense, because we're always looking at a screen. And so to be able to first of all connect with our five senses again, and then that leads on to our intuition, our clairs, our clairvoyances and things. And so that's been an expansive journey for me. I'm incredibly sensitive now, and there's no way I could work in an office. I think I'm quite telepathic sometimes. I can really sense things when people are about to call me, think, oh yes, you know, I think we all have that little bit, but it's definitely got more. And yeah, just in terms of the ancient self, it's about being connected again to nature, and so understanding the cycles like the moon, but also things like the photonic belt. So we're being affected by two suns, a central sun as well, and how that impacts us in terms of our evolution, because it's all related. It's all vibration or evolution, all about consciousness and vibration, which comes from inside, and the cosmos. It's all the same. We've got the Earth's magnetic field, which is a cycle as well. We're at the lowest. We've been at the lowest in 2020, and that's it's a cycle. So a lot of what was going on is related to the Earth's magnetic field. So what this has done for me has been to create perspective. And so when everyone is looking at the news and what have you, I listen to a channel called Everyday Lives on YouTube. This is my go-to. And he talks about the Schumann resonance and the solar flares that are happening. And I like to sort of feel into my body and see what's going on, and how busy I've been or how anxious I'm feeling, what have you, and relate it to these two aspects. So it's really a sort of deeper sense of self-awareness, and it also brings in perspective. So you're not going, oh, it's because I'm giving myself you give yourself a bad time, but it's not always that. It's something bigger. And so I like to have like an eagle eye with all this, as well as knowing all the detail a little bit. I do stop and look at the newspapers and stuff, but this is, my belief system is that we are evolving and expanding, and it's part of what's going on right now is sort of to do with more light, and it's reflected in the Schumann resonance. There's more vibration, and the Schumann resonance is the heartbeat of the planet, and it's related, and we can affect that as well. So it's two-way. So this is everything I've learned, by the way. So I hope you're enjoying my expansive experience. But we can affect the weather, and we can affect the Schumann resonance. It's all consciousness. I can definitely affect the weather, by the way. I can do yoga outside and it won't rain until I stop the yoga. But again, it's just food for thought. And so this gives you the access to your smaller self. It makes you more humble to think, actually, but also it's empowering, because we can sort of affect things. It's a two-way thing. So the light, the aspect of light, we also can create light in ourselves, sort of fractals of light, with spots of light or mirrors of light. And another of my expansive things was all understanding about biodynamic agriculture. So I was looking very much at my nutrition, and understanding our environment's really important. And then the farmer that I got to know, Hans Günther, he had crystal fillings in his teeth, right? The reason being that our teeth receive light. The light is in the food. Light is information from the cosmos, which is really important. We receive in order for us to expand and evolve. So sun gazing, absolutely. Some very sort of mild sun cream or what have you, but we want that light. And so in our food, we want things to be ripe, and a lot of things are picked before they're ripe, and we need our teeth to actually connect with this light. So that was interesting. And yeah, I went in the whole thing on that. I've written loads, but I better not share everything. But so I'm a sun worshipper. I was always a water worshipper. I'm going to live by the beach. So the other thing that really helped me was understanding. It was like the cell membranes, the fact that light and sound are the most important things, really, in our DNA. The majority of it is deactivated, and to activate it, it's all around light and sound. So when people say we've got junk DNA, that's complete rubbish. It's just that we need to be activated. And so this is our future. It's all about light and sound. I'm sort of more into the light, but the sound, for me, it's a nature frequencies. But there are and things like the love frequencies, all sorts of different frequencies, the sound that can really be healing. And so our cell membranes have these receptors on us. It looks like an earth with a forest around it, when those receptors are healthy. Okay. Like little hairs, you know, and our thoughts so there's light and sound, our thoughts, it's all vibration. Okay. And it's in water because our bodies are water, 70% water, so we need it all to be received by our cells. And yeah, the biology of belief was absolutely a game changer for me, Bruce Lipton, because whatever you believe, the thoughts, the waves are received in our cells. So I hope you're expanding, checking in. So it's harmony, coherence, resonance. That's my priority. Clearing my field. No more office work. Being careful of my voice notes when I listen to them. Trying to protect my energy, the protective thing. I sometimes have a ring and I just sort of deflect. So yeah, the innate self, then that's, you know, what we talk about, the DNA activation. And I think when I had COVID, that was a real dark night of the soul. I don't know what it was, but there was some dark energy associated with it that people did experience. It could have been something to do with inflammation, but all my sort of demons came up, and I just sort of thought, right, I'm going to deal with everything that, like, you know, with the life wheel, where I'm dealing with that, I'm dealing with that, I'm dealing with that and that. And so that's been the kind of expansive journey this year, really. And to be able to create your own life and to be empowered to do that, knowing the ability to heal and self-regulate, and to choose love over fear. That's been massive. That's been a difficult one with a story, but I don't think I can share it without crying. You know, the light will always dissolve the dark. You know, shine a light and the dark will go. You know, you have to be alone to have a sense of agency, and to not have those distractions. So it's radical responsibility on that one. Learning how to relax, not just to rest. Knowing your creative ability. So I created some courses last year. Never created anything in my life that people paid for, so that was quite good. That's the sort of innate self. The future self is really, you know, so Joe Dispenza was brilliant with this. So setting your intention and having an elevated emotion, you can sort of quantum leap into the future. That is true. That's proven in my experience. And so meditation can really help you with that. So that's helped me to have my North Star to connect with your future self. So I wanted to say a bit more about that, but yeah, just to know that you go first and be clear about what you want, and then the universe will follow, and to have trust in that and to let things unfold. Your higher self, we're nearly there. The higher self is, that's like what I'm doing now. It's like my purpose is being of service, sharing, and the Ikigai has been helpful with that. So that's a tool that can help you self-actualize. And gene codes, that was that's more to do with being connecting with your authentic self, your true self, or your essence. So going really deeper with that. So gene codes is like that latest one. There's Nancy posted something in the group, genecodes.com, and I looked at mine, and my purpose is intimacy, and intimacy to all things, it just makes sense. That's what I've just been talking about, the relationship with everything. And so I've just gone deeper with it, and that is my purpose. So it's just having that self-awareness is very interesting. So then you can really speak your truth and be unapologetic about it. So I could go into more about your authentic self, but anyway. Sacred self is the last one. You know, everything is sacred at the end of the day, and to treat it as so. with gratitude as well. So we all are nice to ourselves. So just a couple of minutes, then I'm going to share one more screen on one more slide on inspire. So inspire yourself. Well, I find it fascinating of all of this expansive journey. So I've just inspired myself. It's just our natural state, and yeah, it's sometimes you just don't want to look, but if you can, yeah, be balanced and grounded at the same time. And then to share others might just be to be yourself and just lead by example, and then people will be affected around you. But to create more impact, then you know, the visibility aspect, you know, yes, you can get trolls, and you can, that's not very good and nice, but you know, most of the time it's really beneficial. It lifts you up. You meet all these different people, so you speak, you teach, you learn to speak. It's practice, and just to think it's not about you, it's about others. Educate and share. You know, we've done this, and it's all about storytelling. This is how we're going to evolve. It's not about, you know, we don't know what's going to happen on social media, for example. All our stuff might be taken down, or you know, if we put stuff on Rumble or something, you know, we don't know. So it's just about sharing with each other. So that's me. That's the end of my talk. Let's carry the conversation on. I do workplace wellbeing talks. You can come to find me about Niken, Nanosecond, or Healy. I've got all these online journeys which basically have documented my expansive experience, and yeah, just find me in the WhatsApp group. Ta-da! That's the end. And I do invite you to give me some feedback and just share, and any comments about inspire. I mean, I suppose it's like, you know, I'm just interested to hear really how you've shared your expansive experiences, and any comments at all. We've got a couple of minutes.
Thank you so much, Deborah. That was really, really interesting, really fascinating. I wanted to ask you, actually, you talked about light and sound. Do you know of any light and sound teachers?
Well, I know Eliana has a website called Light Frequencies. Well, it depends on what context. Like, I know someone who teaches about voice, which is sound, and so having influence on people and your voice. I know someone who does voice training, or if it's something about healing. Yes, I know someone who does tuning forks, for example. So it just depends on the context, and for both for those things. I'm a connector, so I'll find the person for you.
I was thinking like you know, somebody who can help you, like a guru, to help you reach self-actualization.
Yeah, well, it's clearing your pineal gland first so you can receive it all. You can go to Everyday Lives, and in that channel there's a whole load of really good sound frequencies in there. It's a YouTube channel, so there we are. There's a guru for you for the sound. That's all about self-actualization.
So sorry, who was that again?
It's called Everyday Lives.
Everyday Lives.
Yeah, so it's a YouTube channel, and if you look in the playlist, there's a whole, one of the sections is frequencies, and it's different hertz. It's like the love frequency, and yeah, the universal. I can't remember them all now, but yeah.
Brilliant, thank you. So we've now reached 8 o'clock, which is a soft close. So if anyone has to leave, you're welcome to leave, but please do stay on. We would like to, if anyone would like to continue the conversation. It's been an absolutely fascinating evening. So I'd like to thank everyone for taking part. Thank you, Eliana, for the lovely meditation. Thank you to Fiona and Alessandro for the sharing session, and also thank you to Peter for the success stories as well. I've got a couple of hands up. Ursula, you've had your hand up for quite a while. I don't know if you wanted to say anything or if you had any questions for Deborah or anyone else.
No, that was actually, you know, I just hands and I couldn't actually change, but I wanted to say hello to everyone because it's my first actually evening. So thank you. I enjoy, so thank you so much. But yeah, I wanted to move that hands, but I don't know what I done. So only this. But yeah, thank you so much, and see you soon. Take care.
Thank you, Ursula. And Eliana, did